All right, so I think we're on chapter 31. And he heard the words of Laban's son, Genesis 31, verse 1. And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was our father's, and that was our father's hath he gotten all this glory. That which was our father's hath he gotten all this glory. So Laban's kids were upset that Jacob had got so rich off of his dad, even though he wasn't nowhere near as rich before Jacob showed up. And the Lord said unto Jacob, Return unto the land of thy fathers and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock, and said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not towards me as before, but the God of my father hath been with me, and ye know that with all my power I have served your father. And your father hath deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but God suffered him not to hurt me. And he said thus, if he said thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. Might have had something to do with that. And if he said thus, the ring straight shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring straight. Thus God hath taken away the cattle of your father, and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time of the cattle conceived, that I lifted up mine eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring straight, speckled, and grizzled. And the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here am I. And he said, Lift up now thine eyes, and see all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring straight, speckled, and grizzled, for I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee. I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointest a pillar, and where thou vowest a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out of this land, and return unto the land of thy fathers. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he hath sold us, and hath quite devoured also our money. For all the riches which God had taken from our father, that is ours and our children's. Now then, whatsoever God hath said unto thee, do. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and his wives upon camels. And he carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padan Aram, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's, and Jacob stole away unawares to Laban the Syrian, in that he told him not that he fled. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river, and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the 3rd day that Jacob was fled, and he took his brethren with him, and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount Gilead. And God came to Laban and the Syrian in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the Mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with a sword? He's like, You kidnapped them. You forced them to leave. I know you did. They would never have left me. Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly, and steal away from me, and didst not tell me, that I might have sent thee away with mirth and songs, with tabret and with harp? Now he's saying, if you had have just said something, I would have sent you away with a big festival and a feast and a celebration. And hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing. So God told him to go, and the customs apparently would have been that he said something, and that they had a little party, got to kiss everybody goodbye. Everybody can understand that. You want to tell people goodbye. We could all understand that. But God said, go. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. He's like, I could hurt you, but the God of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. And now, though thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? He's like, all right, I get it. You want to go. But why did you steal my idols? Which he didn't. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me, with whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live. See, what I hear right there is, I was afraid if I said something to you, you were going to stop me. But I knew that if I just obeyed God, it would work out. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee, for Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. His beloved wife. And Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent, but he cursed Rachel right then. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. He cursed her. Let him die. Now Rachel had taken the image and put them into camel's furniture and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. And she said to her father, let it not displease my lord, that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. And Jacob was wroth and chode with Laban. And Jacob answered and said unto Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued after me? Man, you know when they got back, somebody got in trouble for stealing his idols. Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff. I love that the Bible uses the word stuff. What hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both. Here's where I got the 20 years from, and it was misquoted before. This 20 years have I been with thee. Thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and thy rams of thy flock have I not eaten. That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto thee, I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was in the day, the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou had sent me away now empty. See, he's saying, if I had not feared God, and I had done what you said, and come to you and say, hey, I want to leave, I'd have been sent away empty. But because I feared God, and God said go, I didn't consult your opinion on the matter. And had I not had the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hast sent me away now empty. God hath seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. Don't you love it when God fights for you? I mean, come on, that's the best way. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. Laban is saying everything he's got is his. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come thou. He's like, I can't do nothing. God said I can't do good or bad. So, this is what we're going to do. Now therefore, come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brethren, gather stones. And they took stones and made an heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jagar Sehadutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Gilead. And Mizpah, for he said, the Lord watch between me and thee, when we are absent one from another. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives beside my daughters, no man is with us. See, God is witness betwixt me and thee. So he's like, the only person here in this covenant is you, me, and God. There ain't nobody else that even knows what we're saying, but God is going to hold us both. We are making a vow to God between me and you, mano y mano. And we're sealing it by making the vow to God. God is witness betwixt you, me, and thee. And Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap, and behold this pillar which I have cast betwixt me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge betwixt us. And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up and kissed his sons and daughters and blessed them, and Laban departed and returned unto his place. So he obeyed God. Laban got mad. God rebuked him and didn't do what he most likely would have done. These are all, he proved that Isaac was right. Everything you see is mine. He proved it. Chapter 32. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, this is God's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now. And I have oxen and asses, flocks and men servants and women servants. And I have sent to tell my lord that I may find grace in thy sight. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and herds, and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. So, can you imagine being the people put in the front of this thing, where you're separated by bands and groups of people, and the last Jacob knew Esau wanted to kill him. So he's literally telling who he cares about the most right here. He's putting the ones he's willing to have knocked off first at the front. And then sequentially, these are the people he's okay with losing first. These are the people that he hopes gets to run away because people here ran back and said, they're killing us. They're his warning. That's how I see it. I know it's supposed to be all these gifts and things like that, but the way I see it is the way it is. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saith unto me, return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. So he's making sure he's talking to the right God. He's not talking to any angel, any other spirit, anybody else. He is talking to one person, nobody else. I am not worthy of the least of all these mercies, and of all the truth which thou hast shewed unto thy servant. For with my staff have I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children. And thou saidest, I will surely do thee good. He's throwing the promise. He's like, you told me you would give me good, that you would do me good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitudes. So you told me to go home to my father's house. The best I know, I'm going to be killed when I get there. I'm trusting you. I left my wife's father's house without telling him anything, trusting you. You took care of that. Now, I'm getting ready to head into the most dangerous place that I feel like I could head because you said go there. I'm reminding you that you said these things. And thou saidest, I will surely do thee good and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. And he lodged there the same night and took of that which came into his hand a present for Esau his brother. 200 she-goats, 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 milch camels with their colts, 40 kine and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses and 10 foals. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves. And he said unto his servants, pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, Whose art thou, and whither goest thou, and whose are these before thee? Then thou shalt say, Thy be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, also he is behind us. And so commanded he the second and the third, and all that followed the drove, saying, On this manner shall ye speak unto Esau when ye find him. And say ye moreover, Behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us, for he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and their rest led a man with him. It's not really printed very good on the side here. And their rest, oh, okay, there's supposed to be a dash. Wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he had prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask for my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and halted upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Shalom.